The rain had already soaked through her thin shoes when she saw the blood. It wasn't dramatic, not at first glance, just a dark smear on the pavement near a man slumped against a bus stop bench. But for her, in that frozen second, everything stopped. Her phone buzzed with reminders about her clinical shift starting in less than 40 minutes, her heart pounded with fear of being late again, yet her feet refused to move past him. A shy nursing student, already one warning away from dismissal, stood trembling in the rain, unaware that this single moment of hesitation would change her entire life. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of doing the right thing even when it costs you, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel Kindness Diaries. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Her name was Era, a second-year nursing student who blended into corridors and classrooms so easily that most people forgot she was there. She spoke softly, avoided eye contact, and carried a constant fear of being a burden. Her life had never been easy. She worked nights at a small cafe to pay for her tuition, studied during stolen hours of exhaustion, and still managed to show up to her hospital training with quiet determination. That morning, she had already been scolded for being late once that week. Another absence could mean losing everything she had worked for. She knew the rules. She knew the consequences. Yet as she looked at the stranger, hunched over and bleeding, all she could think about was what her instructors had drilled into her heart before her mind. Patient first. The man was older, his coat torn at the sleeve, blood seeping from a deep gash in his arm. His face was pale, his breath shallow, and it was clear he had tried to stop the bleeding himself and failed. Era's hands shook as she knelt beside him, the rain plastering her hair to her face. She had no medical kit, only the basic supplies she carried everywhere out of habit. With gentle urgency, she cleaned the wound as best she could, using her scarf as pressure, her fingers moving with instinct born from countless practice sessions. She stayed with him far longer than she should have, waiting until the bleeding slowed, until an ambulance arrived. By the time she stood up again, soaked and exhausted, she knew she was already too late for her shift. The hospital doors felt heavier that day. Walking inside hours later, she already felt defeated. The sterile smell, the echo of hurried footsteps, the sharp glances from supervisors all pressed down on her chest. When she was called into the office, she didn't cry or argue. She simply nodded, accepted the formal notice, and walked out with her bag held tightly against her chest. She told herself that this was what she deserved for choosing a stranger over her future. On the bus ride home, she stared out the window, replaying the scene again and again, wondering if kindness was worth such a cost. The next day, she returned to the hospital not as a student but as someone collecting her belongings. Her steps were slow, her head lowered, her presence barely noticed among the bustling staff. That was when a ripple of tension moved through the corridor. Executives in tailored suits appeared, administrators straightened their posture, and whispers traveled faster than footsteps. Someone important was visiting. Era paid no attention. Important people belonged to another world, one she had never been part of. She was bent over a locker when she felt it, a strange stillness, like the air itself was holding its breath. When she looked up, she saw him. The same man from the bus stop, now clean, dressed impeccably, standing tall with an authority that made the entire floor feel smaller. His arm was bandaged, neat and professional, but his eyes were unmistakable. Recognition washed over his face the moment he saw her, and in that instant, the hospital corridor seemed to fade away. The truth unfolded quickly, though not loudly. He was the CEO of a major healthcare network, a man whose decisions shaped hospitals, careers, and lives. The night before, he had collapsed after an accident no one had noticed, bleeding quietly in the rain while the city rushed past him. No security team, no assistance, just him and the pavement. If Era hadn't stopped, if she hadn't sacrificed her shift, the outcome could have been very different. What stunned everyone wasn't his status, but his sincerity as he acknowledged her actions without spectacle, without ego. For the first time, people really saw Era. Not as the quiet girl in the corner, not as the student who struggled to speak up, but as a nurse in her truest form. The administrators who had dismissed her the day before now stood in uncomfortable silence. Policies were reviewed, records reconsidered, and consequences re-examined through a lens that finally included humanity. But more than that, the CEO spoke about values. About how medicine wasn't just schedules and checklists, but moments where compassion mattered more than compliance. Era's reinstatement was immediate, but the change went deeper than paperwork. Mentors suddenly took interest in her growth. Doctors asked her opinions. Nurses trusted her instincts. She still spoke softly, still blushed when praised, but something inside her had shifted. She walked with a quiet confidence now, knowing that her kindness wasn't a weakness but her reminder of why she chose this path in the first place. Weeks later, she found herself back at the same bus stop. The rain had stopped, the pavement dry, the city moving as always. She stood there for a moment, remembering how close she had come to giving up, how easily her story could have ended differently. She realized then that not all heroes wear confidence on their sleeves. Some tremble, some doubt, some almost walk away, but they stop anyway. As her journey continued, Era never became loud or bold in the way people expected success to look like. She remained gentle, observant, deeply empathetic. Patients felt safe with her. Families trusted her. And when she eventually graduated, her story became a quiet legend whispered among students, not as a tale of luck, but as proof that integrity has a way of circling back. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that small acts of kindness can echo louder than power or titles, please take a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Kindness Diaries. Your engagement helps keep these stories alive. Before the ending, we have one special request. Please comment below with a single word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. Era never sought recognition for what she did that rainy morning. She simply followed the calling that had led her to nursing in the first place. And in doing so, she learned that sometimes, missing a step on the path doesn't mean you are lost. Sometimes, it means you are exactly where you are meant to be.